Howdy y'all. Today I was going to give you a quick update on what I've been doing out here at the cabin. And as you see, here's the fireplace that I showed you in the previous video. And about 2 weeks ago, I think, I got a pressure washer over here. It was real pretty outside, and I pressure washed the whole cabin, and I pressure washed this fireplace. Okay, here I am when I was pressure washing the cabin. And luckily I had enough hose that I could reach all the cabin and not have to move the pressure washer around. And I started washing the inside first, the downstairs, and then I washed the inside of the upstairs, and then I washed all of the outside from the top down. And when I got all the outside washed, I went back inside and washed it off again because I put a lot of mud inside. And excuse me, you have to hold the pressure washer about a foot away from the logs, because if you don't, it will damage your logs, and you don't want to take off too much patina. You just want to get the dirt off, and it'll cut the wood actually, so you have to be very careful when you wash them with the pressure washer. It got a lot of dirt off of everything, and got a lot of the old paint off of this fireplace, and it's going to look pretty good when I get done. And this fireplace, I'm going to have gas logs in. And later on, I'm going to put a triple wall pipe up all the way through the roof. But for now, I'm just going to put gas logs in here. And in the kitchen, I'm going to put a nice wood-burning stove. And so for now, I have framed up this frame on top of the fireplace, which gives me plenty of room for someday to put a pipe up. But for now, I'm going to make a shelf here to put like our TV and VCR, DVD player, all that stuff. So it'll be like a built-in entertainment center, and I'm going to take a piece of hewed log that I have and make a nice mantelpiece. I'll show you the logs here. It's hard to see right now, but they really got a nice color to them now after I've pressure washed them. It took all the old dirt, and it'll be better to see when I get some lighting in here. I still have a lot of nails to pull in these logs. When I tore this cabin down, it was covered in newspapers and cardboard and all kinds of, everything was tacked on and glued on, and it was a mess, but I'm getting it cleaned up. I've got the windows framed up. And the windows are ordered and supposed to be here this week sometime. Also, I got this old church bench the other day. I built a church a new bench, and they give me their old one, and I'm going to rebuild this bench for our front porch. I'll make a video when I do that. And also, I have started chinking, and I thought I would give y'all a glimpse of how I'm doing that. Here's some of the insulation. I'm putting fiberglass insulation between the cracks. And let me step out on the porch and I will show you my chinking. Okay, here you can see the chinking that I've been doing. And this is my first time chinking, so I have had a lot to learn, but I'm getting it down pat. And the hardest part I found is getting your mixture right. I use a mixture out of a Hewn log cabin book that I have, and it is 9 parts sand, 2 parts Portland cement, and 1 part lime. And the sand I was using, I bought at Lowe's, and it's Quickcrete brand sand, and it's got kind of a lot of little red and black tints to it, and it dries a real nice color. This here is just a few days old, so it's still changing color. And I'm going to, after I get it all chinked, I'll wipe the logs there where the moisture's run down them. But as you can see, it's hard as a rock. But a lot of people are using the perma-chink and stuff. But everybody I talk to has not had much luck with the perma-chink, and they say this is really the way to go, especially for these old cabins. And this was pretty easy once I got the mixture right. And there's a lot of ways that people say to do it, and I've listened to a lot of them. This is one of the bigger cracks, and as you see, it done well. I mean, that's big as my hand. And also, whenever you're chinking the outside of your cabin, you got to put a drip edge here. this log here sticks out about a little over an inch past the chinking, and then when it rains, if water blows on this log, it'll run off and drip off right and go down this one, and it won't get behind this chinking and rot your logs out. Now this is a place I've been debating about. This log here has a gap in the notch, and I almost chinked this, but if you can see, these notches are a dovetail notch, or a half dovetail, and whenever water gets on that, it'll run off. And I was afraid if I chinked that if water got in there, that it couldn't run out and it would rot. So I'm not going to chink the butt ends there of the joints. I've still got to put a little chinking in the small places here. But what I've been doing to hold this chinking in, I will show you right here. I'm using nails, and I put the nails in at the angle that I want. These nails I put more towards the front of the log, and these I place in my inch or inch and a half, whichever it is. And I bend them over. I drive them in at an angle here and bend them down to where they're flat. And I put the fiberglass insulation in from the other side up against the nails. And then, whenever I get my chinking all mixed up, I've been taking this small trowel here, a 4-inch trowel, and I'll start chinking, and I'll put a little layer on all the way across the bottom. And then I'll go to another crack, and I'll put a layer in it. And then I'll come back in a little bit when this is set up a little more. And then I'll go and put a little more on it, a little more. And I've found that works out the best, and it doesn't pucker out and want to slide down. But you have to get that chinking pretty thick anyway. But the way I found is to put it on a little at a time. And then it bonds good right here against this upper log. Now, a lot of videos I've watched, everybody uses the metal lathe, which is what they put around like blocks when they put stone on and stuff. But that gets pretty pricey, and I really don't have the extra money to buy all the metal lathe and cut it and tack it in place. And a lot of the people will cut a notch before they build their cabins. They'll cut a notch right here on the upper log, and that'll let them just put the lath right up into the log and tack it in. But I've had several friends that has chinked cabins with the nails and the fiberglass, and it's beautiful, and they have not had any trouble with it. And any of this chinking could get cracks in it eventually, but I mean, that's just a chance you're taking. It's going to happen. But all the ones that I've seen that they have chinked with this method still looks beautiful, and they've been chinked for several years. And right here is where there's going to be a porch light here. And I'm going to add a few more nails to the upper part of this log. But that's how I've been doing it. And so far so good. I mean, you can see it's held well. I mean, this is still fresh, but I believe it's going to look nice. And hopefully we'll have this thing chinked the next time it gets about a week's worth of warm weather. I ain't done with this crack here. There's so many opinions on how to do the chinking and all the things for these log cabins. And I'm mainly learning from trial and error. And I watch tons of videos on YouTube, and I have several books, and every one of them will tell you a little something different. So this is what I'm trying, and this is what I found works for me. And I'm going to do a chinking video for y'all, but it's been pretty cold here the last few days. It's about 20 degrees, I guess, out here right now. We've got a heavy frost. Well, it was heavier, but it's starting to warm up. So there's the horses. And the mule. But I just wanted to show y'all what I've been into here. I've had a lot of questions about chinking. And here I've started doing the same on the inside. Those little white things on those nails, that's I'm going to be pulling those off. Those were really air nails from my framing nailer that I just pulled apart and nailed in. Here's one of the biggest logs in our cabin. This log is about 21 inches. So that was a massive tree when it was cut. A lot of big logs in this cabin on the first floor. That's another real big one. Now this wall here will go into the kitchen when I'm going to build an addition onto the back, and our kitchen will be on this side, and I'm going to be cutting a hole in these 3 logs, and I'm going to be putting a 2 logs, and I'm going to be putting a countertop on top of those, right between. This will be the dining room, and that'll be the kitchen, and there'll be a bar between them. I'll show you this. Here's a pie safe I have been building for some people. It's all stained and ready to put the metal in. It's a corner pie safe. Here's the metal I'll be using. I'll just be stapling it onto the back of the doors here. I've built quite a few of these. So this is the first corner cabinet I've built. If any of y'all have any questions on how I've done anything on this cabin or any advice, well, just please comment below and let me know, and I'll answer any questions that you might have. I've had tons of people ask me a lot of things on these, and I tell them all I know, but I'm still learning myself. And anybody has any advice, please let me know. I know there's a lot of people who knows a lot more about these things than I do. It really helped, whenever we pressure washed this cabin. It got tons of dirt off this. And I stayed far enough away I didn't damage any logs. Didn't cut none. And didn't fuzz them up. It just knocked off all the mud. And where this thing was chinked with mud, it was very filthy. I still have to frame up these upstairs windows. And you can see those real ugly places on those logs there. When I bought this cabin, it had a lap siding on it. And wherever a log stuck out in their way, they just took an axe and just chopped the heck out of it. And that's one right there that stuck out a little. And to make their siding level, they just chopped the logs. This end, the logs had a little more damage than anywhere else. That's why some of the butt ends there is kind of ugly. But they're still sound. I've checked them all. The porch is going well. I've got a lot of stuff on it right now where I've been working out here. But the railing is looking really nice. I've got a few more boards to add to the end there. I'll show y'all something pretty cool here. When I build onto the back of the house, I'm going to build a chimney for the wood burning stove, and I'm going to build a back porch, and I'm going to build an outdoor fireplace. And I'm going to show y'all this hearth rock that I've found, or a mantle rock, I guess this would be. And this was actually, I tore down my great-grandparents' old house, built in 1920, and I have the chimney in the cabin that was from it. But when I tore that down, that fireplace was sitting on 2 big rocks, laying like side by side, just like this. This was one, and this one was flipped over, and I didn't realize what it was, but I knew it was really square. And I got the forklift when I moved the cabin, and I said, I'm going to bring these big rocks up here. Well, this one ended up being this huge big mantle rock, hand carved. And I do not know, this is some of my ancestors' work, but I do not know, it's kind of been a mystery. I don't know what cabin it's come from out of the hollow here. I have the mantle rocks and hearth rocks to every house that I've known that has been in the holler, but this one, so I think this must have been one of the original settlements. So I'm going to use it for my fireplace on the back of the house. And it's really big. It's about 5 feet long, and it's about 16 inches thick. It's one of the biggest ones that I've got. And it's one of the cruder made ones, but I think it's the oldest one that I've found. So I thought that was pretty cool. Here's the horses and mule, ready for me to go to the barn and feed them. This is Ruth. I'm hoping, she's pretty young still, I'm hoping to get her in harness this year and break her to work. They're gentle as pups. Here's Reuben. He's one of my Rocky Mountain horses. We enjoy having them around. The kids really love them. There's Peppy. The sun's trying to come out here good now. If you ever heard the song, You'll Never Leave Harlan Alive, and the sun comes up at 10 and goes down at 3, there's a whole lot of truth to that. The sun here, well, we get a couple hours of sun in the wintertime, but it goes right over me most of the time. I live on the cold side of the mountain. Right through there is looking towards West Virginia, which is right over that ridge is the Tug River. Well, that's it for this video. I will do a chinking video for y'all soon. And hope y'all have enjoyed. Please comment and tell me what you want to see in any future videos. And remember to like and subscribe. We love hearing from y'all. And God bless you, and go forth and homestead.